Dad just popped out well quick to just run the TT race up and down the road to make sure it's all alright. And he reached down to fill the airbox to make sure the air was coming through to the carburetors alright. And put his hand straight in the front sprocket. He's cut the end of his finger off. Possibly more than that, maybe even like half. Definitely to the first knuckle. So after the bike show, we got the Honda back to the workshop, put a fuel supply to it, and ran the engine for the very first time. We knew from the start it was going to take a lot of fine tuning and dyno work to get this bike set up and running sweet. The old man got it fairly well set up and decided to take the bike for a very small road test. We weren't planning on filming this, he didn't even take his mobile phone with him. But little did we know, a very small but life-changing event was about to happen. Dad rode past holding his hand up in the air. I thought he was waving at me.
Find it?
No.
Is it that much gone?
Skin.
Most of that gone? It's gone, isn't it?
Yeah. Down to about his knuckle there.
Right, let's go then. What hospital? Lister?
There's no A&E at Lister, is there? Oh, pulsing now.
Come on.
Let's go.
Got to go. He's losing blood. I'm looking for his fucking hat. He's on his head. Yeah, but he's pissing blood.
Yeah, he's got to keep pressure on it. Who's going? Huh?
I go?
You and Poshka, I'll look after the shop. Take the keys, they're on top of my toolbox. Go in the transit.
Is he in his mouth?
He's getting something. Probably his fags. Dad? You're going in the transit. You're going in the transit. See you in a bit.
Yeah, mate.
Dad lost half of his middle finger and fractured his index finger, reaching down to not take his eyes off the road and to adjust the carburetors and airbox. Turns out taking your eyes off the road for a moment may have been a better idea, Dad. And for a bass player to lose a finger is a big deal. This may end his bass playing career prematurely. It may upset his day-to-day life for a while, but I'm glad you're going to be okay, mate. And we wish you a speedy recovery.
So, bro, what would we get up to? What's going on? What we've been doing? Tell these people. Go.
So while the old man was building TT racers and cutting off fingers, me and Thomas were busy building a number of motorcycles the other side of the shop. So the story begins of when we sold the BMW R45 in season 2. We put it online. I had a phone call about it from a guy called Richard. He said, "I'd love the bike. I'm going to come down and have a look at it." He came down, had a look at it, fell in love with it, bought the bike. But the twist to the story is he brought down a Ducati. It's a 1000cc Multistrada, and the whole arse end of the bike had been cut off. So he'd angle grind the back of the frame off, taken all the bodywork off it, then decided, oh, do you know what, I think I might be better off sending it to Mint Customs for the job to be done. We rolled it in the workshop and said, please, 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 can you help me out and get this bike up and running? I want to build like a calf racer type bike, and you know, I want a funky paint job, and I want it to be beautiful looking. I want it to be all black, really hard looking, but with like a green paint job basically, with red graphics. I stood there scratching my head and ended up saying, okay, we'll take on the project, but it's going to take a while because we're super busy and the race season's starting. This 2003 Ducati Multistrada started out life looking something like this. Yes, you could argue this is one of the most ugliest bikes Ducati have ever made.
This is like what's that movie?
But once all the bodywork is removed, the chassis and engine setup looks flipping awesome. Brembo brakes, Marcassini wheels, single-sided swing arm, a big 1000cc V-twin. This bike ticks a lot of boxes. So we got it on the bench, and the first job was to figure out how we were going to build the subframe. He wanted a 999 Ducati fuel tank fit into it. So we come up with a design. We made up some tank brackets and rubber mounted the tank to the frame, and then built a subframe off the back of it with a real nice tidy looking calf seat. Could run the tank further back, lower these. It gives us more clearance on the frame.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Do I make any sense?
Yeah, man.
Do you make any sense?
Nope.
Does anything make any sense?
Not really.
Why are we here?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
We just got up this morning and come in.
Oh, that is 100 times better. So Tom, what stuff you been doing on the Ducati? Tell us something.
Well, me and Sam wanted to get it done, I think, because we're on we're always on a time scale. So we're like, you know, let's do it, let's get it done. So Sam gave me the task of the battery box, sorting out the wiring, a load of other brackets and mounts, and
Basically everything.
bit of framework and everything but the subframe, basically.
Yeah. The biggest problem with the whole build was the seat did not meet the tank, and it was just ugly. Like, the subframe was beautiful, the seat was beautiful, the tank looked beautiful, but it didn't quite go together properly. There's no flow. Exactly, Tom, no flow. Me and Tom sat one night, well, you did, Tom, didn't you, really?
Yeah.
Sat one night and went through YouTube and learnt the best he could on YouTube about how to fiberglass. We got to the workshop the next day and gave fiberglassing a go. So a little update, the subframe's done apart from this. I need to put a loop in here, which Hot Rod Tom is making us at the moment. But then once the hoop's welded in, the bike could be stripped, and then we could overweld all of the frame and get the frame finished and sent for powder coat. And as Hot Rod Tom is around today, we've dragged him in to help us out with the exhaust system. He specialises in hot rod exhaust systems, so I'm sure this Ducati won't be a problem. So we come up with a design for the exhaust, and we got Hot Rod Tom to make up a link pipe and TIG weld it all together. We didn't want it hiding the rear wheel because it's a single-sided swing arm with a beautiful Marcassini rear wheel. Everything's starting to come together nicely. The exhausts are almost done. All the little brackets for the coils, and we made a battery box. We've moved the battery from the side of the bike under the tank. Then we've rubber mounted the 999 Ducati tank to this Multistrada bike. fitted a calf seat. And then to join the calf seat and the tank, we're going to attempt to fiberglass. And we're going to make a fiberglass panel that joins the tank and the seat together. But neither of us have ever fiberglassed before. Scared of there being resin on something.
First the towel.
Right, it's going to get very messy. So I'm just going to wrap it, the whole thing up.
Great idea, mate.
Yay!
It's like in Star Wars moment, isn't it?
Wow, bro. It's looking good, mate. I was a little bit surprised, but it came out really good. It was strong, it did the job, it took the weight of a human, which I was really worried about, it taking the weight of a human. So we've mounted the oil tank, just about to finish the subframe and the exhaust. Trying to get this bike done as soon as possible and get it sent for paint and powder coat. This tank isn't designed for the bike, as you know, it's a 999 tank. So we've sent off all the little brackets we made underneath. Powder coat, these are going for paint. We're going to get our paint specialist Otto to filler all this and make it look pretty. We're modifying the fork so the front end sits nice. Black powder coated yokes. A battery box. We've refreshed the engine, serviced the engine, new belts, spark plugs, the full works on the engine. The frames come back from powder coat, the swing arm's gone in, the shock's been rebuilt.
Getting it done.
We are on a budget with this build. There's a lot of little things we would like to do that simply won't be in the budget, but I truly think it's going to turn out like a really nice looking motorcycle. Go and make a cup of tea.
I think so.
Okay, so today's Tuesday, and this Monday is the bike show. Yes, you heard me right. This crazy Ducati Multistrada 1000, these, whatever you want to call it. Let's just call it the Multistrada. It's going to a bike show, and not only is it going to a bike show, it's going to be revealed for the very first time to its owner. We're still waiting on the oil hoses. All the bodywork's gone back to Otto to be polished. We haven't even run the engine yet. No road test, no MOT yet. I'm a little bit stressed out. Oh, the days were counting down and the show was creeping up on us. The bodywork came back and was fitted for the last time. The new oil hoses were fitted and the engine was tested. Oh, mama. Just time for an MOT and a road test, and we're ready to go. Welcome to the Wheels on Walmer Green. This is a small local show, perfect for showing off some of our latest builds. I was nervous about handing over the Multistrada. I was worried about Richard not liking the colour scheme. The green was loud and in your face.
We don't need to fight to survive.
But it turned out he absolutely loved it. In fact, he was blown away by how much we transformed the bike and how much we managed to squeeze into the budget. Another job in the books.
Just tell you what is right.
Before we even finished this build, we had orders coming in for another 2 Ducatis. One with a similar budget and one with a much, much larger budget. 2019 is turning into one crazy year for the Parry Brothers and Mint Customs. Fast, it's loud. Bright fucking green. It's awesome. I love it.
Just tell you right.
That was it.
And that's a wrap. That was mega, mate.
Yeah.
I build your bike and you don't pay me? Huh? I build your bike, you come and do my garage, I build your bike and you don't pay me? You don't fucking pay me? I kill you, man.
Turned out really well. I'm staying optimistic about it all.
What? What did you say?
Optimistic about it all.
No,
Right, and your dirty hands must have touched there. Because I put them on, took them off later, and I could see out the corner of my eye, I had all black going down my nose, and I was like, I wonder who's been working on a sooty exhaust. Ah, yeah, he passed me these earlier.
Look fucking me, mate.
So, going back to the question, does anything make any sense?